Welcome everyone. This is Season 6 of Zenith Online Racing. This is EU tier, Round 1 at Bahrain. I am Zyg, back in the commentary booth after a break of a little while, but it's good to be back. Good to be back at EU tier, and excited for another great season. So, first race, let's get all of the lovely information up on screen and figure out who we're going to be following along board with. It looks like we got Paul on an outlap. He looks to be the first one, so we will follow along with him. I'm going to take a quick check to make sure the sound levels are where they should be. Looking good so far. So if you have any issues with the sound, and if there's anyone watching live, let me know. But yeah, we will follow along. Oh, looks, we had a retirement already. Looks like Jay Doodoo is out already, so that's not a good start. Thankfully, not too big of a field, so he should be able to come back from 14th on that fresh set of tires. But we'll follow along with Paul K11118 as he sets a first lap, as we have another yellow flag. Looks like it's just people slowing down, but we'll follow along with Paul, get a quick view of the circuit, some points to consider, and get a benchmark set. So braking for turn 1, very, very, very heavy braking zone. You'll see a lot of overtaking into turn 1. Very tricky throttle and acceleration zone through 2 and 3. Short DRS straight, and you can see him going very wide on entry for turn 4, braking a really tricky acceleration zone again. Some high-speed corners here through the second sector. And then this is one of the hardest braking zones, I think, maybe the second hardest braking zone on the track. You can see him going very wide on exit to maximize that apex speed. Coming up the hill now through the infamous turn 9 and 10, you can see it does well not to lock up and carry a little bit of speed, but such a challenging corner, especially as the race is wearing on and those tires are getting worn. Short DRS straight now for turn 11. You run real wide, and the curve that you have to avoid at all costs. If you touch that curve, it totally upsets the balance of the car, and you spin around almost instantly. Another tricky braking zone through, I don't even know what quarter number that is, as he prepares for the final, technically 2 corners, but it effectively functions as one. And then on to the main straight, opening up the DRS, and he's going to come across the line, set a 126.5, so pretty decent lap for a banker. And for the first go, we'll see what some other people can do. We have another 26.5 set by Snooty. That's on the medium tire though, so look for him to greatly improve on his second run. We've got a Ferrari going slowly through the final corner. Looks like that's Barton who's coming in, so he might have had an invalidation. Yet looks like he had an invalidation, which is forcing him off. And we have Adri. I don't know if he was trying to get out of the way of somebody. Looks like he might have been maybe just made a mistake. Got Beck now coming through. He's on his first flying lap. A lot of guys trying to get out of the way of others for traffic, which we always appreciate. Beck with a pretty decent looking first sector. It says purple. You can't always rely on the game to give those accurate. Ooh, he has a big wobble and just about keeps it going. Just until he spins around again. He's lucky to not be out of the session. I'm sure he's going to have damaged his front wing, and probably looking at a slow go around to the pits, but you can't always tell. Yep, as he crests the hill, you can see he's missing his left end plate there, so lucky that he didn't damage his suspension and that he can just go back to the pits and get that front wing swapped and on for another lap. Can't always trust those sector times. The game likes to tell you that a sector is a purple sector when it's not, but We have some other drivers setting some times. Look like Russman set a time there on the softs. Same thing with Elgion Leon. He goes on to provisional pole with a 126.1 until he just does a little bit better. He goes 25.7, so our first driver into the 25s. Looks like we've got Adri, who's on an invalid lap. Let's follow along with Bag of Bones. Looks like he's on a flying lap. Yeah, we see a mix of drivers on the mediums and softs. This is a circuit where the soft medium is not really viable. You might see some guys, as RC sets a decent lap there on the mediums. He goes with 29.2. I'm sure he's got a little bit more in the bag there. But this would be a track where you don't really want to be... if you can start high up on the mediums, like where Paul is right now, that would probably be your best bet for race strategy. As Bag of Bones goes onto the front row provisionally with a 26.4, so still a pretty decent way away from LGN Leon, but a good time nonetheless. It looks like we've got a couple people on some flyers. Russman looks like he's found quite a bit of time through the first sector, so he might have had a mistake. There's some car going in front of him. Let's hope it's not somebody who's on an out lap. Looks like it might be Wreck Diver, who's invalidated his lap, so he should move out of the way. It looks like he is not doing so just yet, but Russman gets it rotated well through turn 10. He'll pick up a little bit of a toe here, but not enough to really offset the dirty air, so Wreck Diver. Like I said, he should hopefully be moving out of the way. Maybe he doesn't know his lap's invalid. Looks like Russman's completely out of battery though, so he might be coming in this lap. Bones looks like he's on the lap as well. Let's follow along with Barton, who says, once again, if you trust the game's purple sectors, it's purple through the first sector on the medium tires. We'll follow along with the rest of his lap. As he crests the hill, coming down through turn 9 and 10, it looks like he just about got it slowed down enough. As McLaren is facing the wrong direction. I have a feeling that might be RC. Oh, that was Bex. Sorry, RC, to do you like that, but yeah, looks like Barton's light is blinking. Maybe he wanted to just back out of that lap for one reason. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's really pushing. Maybe just running down a bit of fuel to go for another lap? Not sure. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I don't think that's a really representative time for Barton in the 29.9. So he must be going again right now. Let's see if we can... Looks like he's pushing a lot harder on this lap. A lot of clear track ahead of him. Not, like I said, only 14 drivers, none of which is already retired, so hopefully there won't be too many issues with traffic during qualifying. But always when you have that free track ahead, you want to take advantage of it. So as he's braking now for 9 and 10, let's see again. Looks pretty clean through there. Ooh, a little bit of a wobble when he's picking up the throttle there. Looks okay. Let's see how wide he goes into turn 11. Pretty good line through there as Snooty goes a 25.0, so that's a massive lap, 7/10 ahead of LGN Leon. Paul's still in a really good spot in P4 on those medium tires. Let's see where Barton can put his car on the mediums as he's rounding the final corner. We have a yellow flag in Sector 2. Looks like we're in the McLaren. Let's get ourselves sorted out. And Barton goes P7, so at 26.9, decent I don't know if that, as he already drops down to P8, I don't know if that time will be enough to keep him in the top 10. He and Beck, Russman, all kind of in that zone where if they want track position, they should really put on the softs. Because Russman's going out on a set of mediums again, but if they want track position, they should really go for the softs, and they might be able to really maybe get ahead of Bones, who's on a 26.4. A lot of these guys are in the high 26s, low 27s. Yeah, they can get track position if they want it, but it's where you're going to feel most comfortable in the race. As we've got Beck almost losing it coming out of turn 8. So let's see if we can find somebody else on the lap. Looks like Beck's light is blinking. Follow along with Carlo. Let's see what he's doing. Six minutes to go in the session now, 6.5. This is right about that time where if you're out on track right now, you might want to come in so you can get your tires changed. If you're on an out lap right now, you probably don't have time to make it back around to do your out lap, flying lap, in lap, and another lap to get around before the time, before the session ends. But interesting to see what LGN Leon can do as the track continues to evolve and get rubbered in on a fresh set of softs. 7/10 is a lot of time to find to Snooty, but he might be able to do it. Let's see where Carlo goes here. He's going to improve to P3, 25.8, so we got our third driver now into the 25s. That was a pretty good looking lap from him. Let's see where Wreck Diver is. He's 0.3 down on his time, so we'll watch him through the final. Right now, that would move him into P4. Oh, and he invalidates right at the end. That's tough. You can see here a little bit of leave of the wheel there in frustration, but thankfully he will be able to just dive right into the pits, get some fresh rubber on, and go for another lap. So look for Wreck Diver on his final run to see what he can do. Looks like Leon is flying through Sector 1, 4/10 down, so let's follow along with him, see what he is able to do at the end of the session. Ooh, just about keeps it in track limits there through the exit of turn 4. This is going through the second sector here. So a very good angle to see how he's doing. Could go a little bit wider through turn 8, but he gets on the power well. Really tricky traction zone there. Gets the car rotated and accelerated really well through turn 10. That was nice and smooth. He's got the DRS open. Let's see. Nice wide entry through 11. Using all the track. Not quite improving as much, so his really good Sector 1 followed up by probably less than stellar Sector 2. If I'm him, I might actually dive into the pits, considering he's not improving maybe as much as he wants. And there's some traffic through the final corner. I don't know who that was. It looked like it was a Red Bull, I believe, probably Carlo on an in-lap. So maybe low fuel mode, maybe you just didn't see the driver behind. Leon does improve his time by 4/10. I don't know. It's going to be really close for him to get back around and get out for another lap. It's going to be really, really close. But looks like he's got P2 pretty well secured right now. Carlo is about the only one who looks to threaten that, at least with how the drivers are on their current tires. On their best laps, let's see. Some drivers, Beck and Barton, who are on the mediums, now have the softs fitted, so we'll leave the best time up there so you can see what we'll be starting right now. Looks like Paul is on a lap, so let's see what he's able to do. Just about a 10th slower overall, so once again, that might be a driver where he's not improving much. This would not you know, this wouldn't change his grid position. I might dive into the pits and swap the tires. I don't know if it's worth competing a lap, and that's what he's going to do at the last minute. Late call-in, and does not get it slowed down. So it looks like he left the session or retired. Not sure what happened there. But we got some drivers on outlaps now. Beck, one of the first drivers there on the outlap. Let's see what Leon's doing. His battery is completely depleted, so he did go a 25.2, so he went a little bit faster. He must have realized he was not going to be able to get in and out of the pits again. So Beck, his fastest lap right now is on the mediums, but he's fitted the softs. See that Barton is in the same position, so both of those guys thinking they might take track position over tire strategy at this point. We do have almost every driver, apart from those two, in the top 10 on the softs right now, so it might not be the ideal strategy, but you know, if everyone is on the less than ideal strategy, you're going to want to be as high up on the grid as you can. I don't know if it's worth, you know, for someone like Beck or Barton, if they could start P4, you're somewhere around there on the softs, that's probably better than starting P7 on the mediums, I would think. Knowing that all your competition is going to be on the similar strategy. So, see Barton there weaving to get some heat into the tires. Not usually a problem in this game. You don't have to worry too much about getting heat into the tires on outlaps, but don't know who's behind him. It looks like Russman. Hope he's aware of what Barton ahead is doing and he's not too much in this dirty air. If I were Russman, I would drop back a little bit, get a gap so he don't fight me too much. But for now, we will we'll check in with Beck and see what his Sector 1 split is, and then go back and check on Barton. Beck is 0.3 down, which is a really, really good improvement right now. That would put him P4, as Fuzz has retired from the session. Looks like he retired in the pits, so must just be, yeah, not looking to improve. Don't really want to be taking curb there on the inside of 10, but Beck did, and didn't look to slow him down too much. Let's see what his Sector 2 split time is, going really wide on entry through 11. Looks really smooth through there. Looks to be in really good control of the car, and he's a second up on his time, so he's going to be well into the 25s. I say that, and then he's around and is out of the session, so commentators curse just as I'm saying he's a second up. He's going to be well into the 25s. He's looking really solid on those tires. Sorry, Beck. Unfortunate. Just got that little bit too greedy on traction, but I hope I will do the same to Barton, who is going really well on the softs. He should also be into the 25s, maybe challenging Carlo for P3 if he can have a really good final sector here. So as he exits the final corner, looks pretty good on traction. Going to be very close, and he does get ahead of Carlo by, in the end, about 0.3. So it's closer to 2.5, but a really good lap from Barton. He's going to be in a really solid position for the race. Let's see what Bag of Bones is doing as he's getting close to finishing the lap. Adri is, we'll check on Adri and then we'll go to Bones, but Adri rounding the final corner now as qualifying officially ends. Ooh, is he going to get invalid for that? No, he stays within track limits, and he's going to stay P8. Bag of Bones, as he crosses the line, he is going to stay P5. Snooty improves his time into the 24s, 24.8, and it looks like that is the end of qualifying. So, in terms of qualifying sessions, that one had quite a few things to take away. A few drivers struggling. We'll see Beck, if you're going to have to start P10, at least you're on the mediums. Much better to be starting P10 on the mediums, but Snooty, on pole position, he set a 24.8. Looking through the rest of the top 10, with Alfa Romeo in 2 and 3, with Leon and Wreckdiver, Barton in P4, Carlo, Bag of Bones, Paul, Adri, and RC7, all on the soft tires in the top 10. Beck rounding out the top 10 will have to start on the mediums, but once again, if you're going to start there, Mediums are all right. We got Russman and Fuzz, Jay Doodoo, and Jinnit, who joined late, will be starting at the back of the grid. So, looks to be kind of a couple interesting battles there. I think especially the top four. You know, any one of them I think can win this race. Always around Bahrain, as we saw with Tier 2 on Wednesday. Safety cars can definitely play a part. And yeah, it'll be interesting as we've got somebody who's readied up already. It's a bit, we're supposed to take a bit of a break so people can set their strategies, so hopefully everyone is ready and setting their strategies now. But yeah, as we saw with some of the other tiers this week, safety cars always a concern, always a possibility. And yeah, we'll be interested to see who maybe tries to risk it for a certain stop. You can go 2 stints on the softs and 1 longer stint on the mediums. Some drivers might feel more comfortable on the mediums, so you might want to start on medium or start on softs and then do 2 longer stints on the mediums, where you can push a little bit harder. Both are relatively similar in terms of overall race time, but when they're calculating that overall race time, it does not always factor in the overtaking. So all the drivers outside the top 10 electing to start on the medium tires, with the exception of Fuzz, who's starting on the hards. I was going to say that I think for anybody outside the top 10, starting on hards is a pretty good call. You just never know what's going to happen with safety cars. You never know what's going to happen with, I mean, weather you kind of know. It's the desert. It's going to stay dry probably. But especially with safety cars, VSC, you never know what's going to happen. So starting on the hards just allows you to run really long into the race. Switch onto the mediums at any point. Switch onto the softs at any point. I think that gives you the most options. So, yeah, everybody else in the top 10, though, I think, like I said, any of those top 4, I think, really have a shot. If you can stay within DRS here, there's 3 DRS zones, so if you can stay within DRS, you have a chance. There are a couple good overtaking spots, turn 1, turn 4, final corner, even into turn 11, you have a decent chance of overtaking, but we are going to get the position change pulled up, at least for the start of this race. And we'll see. Yeah, I will give some predictions. It's been a while since I've commentated. Some of these drivers I've never seen race before, but like I said, I think 2 of our podium finishers will come from the top 3. I'll say, actually, let me rephrase that. I think at least 1 Alfa Romeo is going to be on the podium. I don't know if I like both, but I think at least 1. And then I think Jinnit or Fuzz to finish in the top 5 as well. So let's get a good camera angle for this launch. 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go. Looks like everyone gets a pretty good start. A Mercedes, or is that an Alpha Tauri starting slowly? Ooh, we've got somebody out already. Jinnit's out already as there's damage, and Beck is out already, and we've got a VSC before we even make it to the first corner. We had contact there at the back of the field, and we've got a full safety car, so we didn't even make it really to the first corner without a full safety car. We'll have to take a look back at that after the fact, but it looked like there was a slow start from, I don't think there was a Mercedes down there. Maybe it was the Alpine of Fuzz, I'm not sure. But it looks like somebody towards the back got a slow start. Then there was contact between Beck and Jinnit. And they're both out before I even make it to the first corner. So unlucky for those 2, not the way you want to start the season. Looks like we've got several people picking up penalties already. Let's figure out who. Looks like Adri and Bones each with 5, and then Jay Doodoo with 10. So if I'm Bones, going to the pits now, serve your 5, put on some mediums, and we should be good to go. So hopefully all these drivers It did take some fuel out at the beginning of the race. If you haven't raced on the new game yet, you cannot use rich or lean fuel mix during the race. You can use lean fuel to save the lean mix to save fuel during VSC and safety car periods, but there's no rich mix. So you can't burn off any excess fuel this year, which is in line with the actual F1 regulations. But yeah, hopefully those guys took some fuel out, because you don't want to be having a bunch of fuel. Looks like somebody was spinning. Jay Doodoo just caught that sort of in the peripheral of the camera, but looks like he spun going into the pits. So we have 3 retirements, and we're not even finished with the opening lap. Looks like, yep, Bones is, we've got the timing glitch, all fan favorite. Looks like Bones is getting a new front wing, serving his penalty, getting some fresh mediums on. He's actually going to be in a really, really good position for the rest of this race, I have to say. Looks like he's going to be at the back of the field, but he's going to be in a really good position. It says he's leading the race. I hope they get that sorted out here before too long, because he is not. But he will be able to push really hard, and now all we need is one more retirement for every driver to be guaranteed points. But yeah, like I said, before we could really even see any action into turn 1, there was VSC and safety cars. So I expect a lot of the position change to be relatively similar, with a couple exceptions. Looked like Barton did get ahead of Wreck Diver before that VSC came out. Paul looks like he dropped 1 position, and then obviously Bones, we know, going into the pits, dropping back quite a few. But yeah, like I said, not quite sure exactly what happened. It was difficult to tell from that front-facing camera angle what exactly happened towards the back of the field. Looks like Jinnit had gone into the back of Beck, potentially. It looks like there was a slow start from the driver on the driver's left, our view on the right side of the grid. But yeah, I'm sure the stewards will have many camera angles to look at for that, to sort out what exactly happened. But the results of which we all know is 2 drivers out. We see a few more drivers diving into the pits, which I'm not surprised to see. Lap 1 safety car, if you're putting on a set of media, if you started on the softs, it's a pretty good chance to put on another set of softs, or even a set of mediums, and go medium to the end of the race. You can put hards and go to the end of the race. Looks like RC has set some mediums. Adri is gone with a set of mediums as well. So interesting to see what those drivers do. Janet in the chat saying, reminder not to invalidate so I don't start with the dregs. Yeah, tough qualifying and a tough race, but I'm sure he will be back ready to go next week. In before Gin Pole next week. But hopefully the safety cars in this lap, we don't like to see too many laps behind the safety car, especially before we can even really get racing. So we will get the interval off right now. We don't really need that on the screen. Just free up a little bit of space to see. Don't even really need the tires. We can take a look at them now. Safety car is coming in this lap, so that's good to be aware of. Still have our top 5 on the softs that they started on. No big changes there. Fuzz, Russman, the benefit of some retirements and some pit stops. Bones, the first of those drivers who has pitted. He, RC, and Adri all pitted for mediums, and Carlo has pitted for the softs. So, as we round in the final corner, let's take a look as Snooty leads them away. Looks like he got a pretty good start. Leon behind, Barton behind. gaps already starting to open there. Let's get this interval actually up. So you can see where some of the gaps are. We've got Carlo already on those soft tires getting by Bag of Bones. Not too much of a surprise there. I would imagine he will be on the back of Fuzz here as well. Up at the front, gaps already kind of starting to level out. Snooty 7/10 over half a second. Wreck Diver the closest in that top 5. Jinnit says softs to lap 11, then mediums to the end. It's a long stretch to take the mediums. I don't know. If you started on the softs, yeah, I think maybe stretching to lap 11 because you really haven't. You've done 3 laps behind the safety car, but you haven't pushed those soft tires at all yet. Further down, we got RC and Fuzz each. Fuzz, starting on the hards, is in a very good spot right now in P8. If he can stay in this DRS train, which they can form sometimes around here, if he can stay in the back, get some slipstream, some DRS, as the drivers ahead tires start to fall off, those hards around here they're not fast, but they are durable. Snooty at the front is already over a second gap starting to form, which is not good news for Wreck Diver as he wants to get back that position that he lost on the opening lap. All going well on his medium tires. I was hoping we would see some closer racing upon the restart, but pretty quickly gaps starting to form. Carlo is pushing on the softs. These are crucial laps for him. If he is going to make this strategy work with boxing for the softs, he's got to get as far up the field as he can, and his teammate is ahead of him right now. So I wonder if there will be any team orders at Red Bull, or if they're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. Wreck Diver still within that second. Ooh, looks. I don't know if that's team orders or just a happy accident that somebody was going wide. Rustman was going wide. Carlo looks like they're alongside. He should have the move done on the inside, on the softer tires. He does. Now Rustman hopefully will be able to stay in his DRS as we got somebody around, Barton around. So through the curb, which is not to be touched, and then that very tricky braking for the final right, or the basically penultimate right-hander. Barton is around, so you don't like to see that. That is, especially with the field as condensed as they were after the safety car, he's towards the back now, so not a great, very costly mistake to say the least. So we've got Paul going up the inside of Wreck Diver. So Wreck Diver, as soon as he gets that position back from Barton's mistake, loses it to Paul. So hopefully he'll be able to follow along, and with the advantage of DRS, might be able to get him back here. Out at the front, Snooty has stretched that gap to over 2 seconds, and Leon in P2 has stretched his gap to over 2 seconds to Paul and Wreck Diver, who have been battling behind. Looks like Rustman also had a mistake. He dropped down the field and missed that. But both of those mistakes make Fuzz in an even better position. The only thing he doesn't have going for him is he's not getting DRS off anybody ahead. And Bag of Bones is already on the back end on those soft tires. He's going to get the move done around the outside. A very good move from Bag of Bones. Fuzz just doesn't have the grip on those hard tires. We'll see with RC now on the mediums if he can use some slipstream to get close to Fuzz as well. This is a really good battle we got going here. Fuzz trying desperately to hold on to track position, but doesn't have the tires for it. You can just see trying not to use too much of his battery. I'm sure he's going to be deploying a lot of it here. Yep, as he's already using overtake and DRS to try and stay close. We've got Leon and Paul both pitting, so they did not run very long on those medium tires. As Fuzz trying to go back down the inside of Bag of Bones. This is great stuff. Just holds it around. A gutsy move from Fuzz, and that forces RC to just back out of the throttle a bit. Bones doesn't have DRS, and that means he's going to lose a position to RC now if he can make it stick. Side by side, who's going to back out? It's going to have to be RC. He just doesn't have the track position there. Bones. Wow. Going to have to work to get back up onto the back of Fuzz. RC having to take a slightly defensive line there just to hold off Adri behind. This is a really good four-way battle right now. Out of the front, Snooty is flying. He's 6 seconds clear of Wreckdiver. Leon and Paul, who are in P2 and P3, have boxed. Barton with his spin went to the back. He is boxed as well for some mediums. So already starting to see some of those drivers who are out of position try something a little bit different with the strategy. There's a yellow flag in sector 2. That looks to be Barton off again, so another mistake from him. Fuzz has been able to extend that gap, not quite out of DRS, but Fuzz having a very good middle sector. I wonder if he used any of his overtake there to extend that. RC goes very deep. Thankfully, Adri is not on the back of him. Some kind of mistake from RC. Bones was able to get back by Fuzz, missed that, and Wreckdiver has picked up a 3-second time penalties for the first time penalty we've seen for track limits. Wreckdiver going into the pits, Snooty into the pits, Snooty going for hard, so he's probably going to be going to the end of the Grand Prix. Wreckdiver went for the softs, so if indeed sorry, I'm just trying to sort out some invites in the chat. If Wreckdiver does want a chance to win this Grand Prix or to get onto the podium, he's going to have to make up some time. Sorry about that, trying to get an invite sorted for someone a little bit. Alright, so where are we? Got Carlo in the lead. Bag of Bones in P2, Fuzz in a very, very good position in P3. RC hot on his tail in P4. We still have this nice DRS train and battle going back and forth between these drivers. Adri behind in P5, Russman in P6, Snooty, effective race leader. He's going to be going to land, I'm sure, on those hards. Paul in P8, as we have RC going into the back of Fuzz. Didn't look like it knocked Fuzz offline too much. Hopefully RC isn't losing his front wing, but that is going to invite Adri up. That is a really difficult place to overtake. Adri does very well to leave space on the outside. Who's going to have DRS? They both do. They both have DRS on Fuzz. Ooh, safety car came out because Barton has retired. Oh, so this is going to shake things up. This might actually hurt Snooty as he's already come into the pits. This is going to shake up the top running spots. If you're somebody like Fuzz, Fuzz is in a very good spot right now because he can put on mediums and maybe stretch those to the end. If you're Carlo or Bag of Bones, I think pit for hards and run into the end, but Snooty is just far enough back that you're going to have a problem. As Carlo picks up a 5-second penalty, that's really going to hurt him, but I would expect a lot of activities in the pits, as yes, all of the top 5 drivers. Russman is going to stay out, so he's going to have to stop again. Those mediums, I think he started on those. I'm not going to go to the end, but he should be able to go deep into this race and then probably put on the softs, I would guess. Snooty, he's going to come out P2, so once Russman pits, he will have the lead. However, the drivers behind him are going to be on a little bit fresher tires. A lot of them going for the hards. I would have maybe gone mediums, knowing that you'll have a couple laps around the safety car. I would have maybe gone mediums and tried to stretch those. You can, I think, just about do it. Yeah, Carlo on softs, he should be able to get by Snooty, no problem, I would guess. Leon in P4, now he's back in the session, thankfully. He's going to be in a good spot. I don't know if he'll be able to make those mediums last, but Fuzz, as I said, at the start of the race, starting on the hards just gives you that huge amount of flexibility. Basically run and fit the mediums or the softs at any point, and that's what he did. He was able to run through the first safety car, into the second, put on the mediums, and he should be good to take those to the end of the Grand Prix. Bones, RC7, rest of the field, everybody else pitted for hards. They're all going to the end. This is really shaking things up, and it's going to, yeah, I mean, I think pretty much anybody has a shot at a podium at this point. Just knowing that everybody's going to be on the same tire, knowing how condensed the field's going to be, if you've got the pace, pretty much anybody in the field can finish on the podium. I think Snooty will be happy with his position. Obviously, he'll be effectively P1 once Russman pits eventually. Carlo, I don't know if it was a mistake to go onto the softs. That's tough because he's really kind of boxed himself in. And he's going to go into the pits now. I would imagine fit the mediums, serve his 5 seconds. As we see him serving those 5. Looks like those are some yellow striped medium tires going on. So he'll go to the end, and he'll have the tire advantage over the drivers ahead. So all in all, if you've got a 5-second penalty to serve it during the safety car, get that 1 step softer tire compound, and assuming the safety car is going to be coming in this lap, so he'll also have the advantage of just running right up to the back of the field. His tires looking nice and in a good temperature window, while everybody else is going to have to be weaving to try and put some heat into the tires during the safety car period, especially those drivers on the hards. It's going to be difficult to keep the heat in those behind the safety car. With Carlo pitting, that puts Fuzz in a very, very good position. He will be effectively P2 once Russman pits, and he's on what I think right now are the best tires. I do think the mediums, I think the game will let you take them 17. So if you're a little bit gentle on them, you're going to get towards puncture territory for sure, but they are a pretty good tire around here, I think. So I think Fuzz in P3, effectively P2 on the mediums, if he can stay by Snooty and get by him within the first couple of laps, it'll be really interesting. The rest of the field, like I said, it's because we've got Russman going slowly. That means Snooty kind of has to do a double take. That means Fuzz kind of has to do a double take. And Bag of Bones is just close enough. We've got all kinds of action. Snooty not wasting any time. Russman going defensive. Let's follow this because it is for the lead of the Grand Prix. Snooty getting a pretty good exit. And you can see his hard tires, even though they are compound harder. The age of Russman's. Ooh, as he almost goes into the back of him. That means and Bag of Bones has gotten by Fuzz. I wonder if Fuzz has picked up damage. He has. He's lost an end plate. Oh, I've done it again. Commentator's curses. Carlo is also out of the Grand Prix. So we've got some yellow flags in Sector 1 and 2. We've got Fuzz, who I thought was in a good position to potentially win this race. He's got damage and is probably going to have to come into the pits because he's not going to be able to carry that end plate damage for very long. RC now in a pretty nice position in P5. Up at the front, Snooty is going to be able to build a huge gap. So when that safety car came out, I thought maybe his position had been slightly compromised, but based off the gap that he had and everybody pitting, it worked out now very much in his favor because Russman is going to be providing just that little bit of a cork in the bottle to the rest of the field who might be trying to catch him. Bones is in a very good spot. He's going to be effectively he's going to be P2 now. Russman is diving into the pits. Tough for Russman. I don't know why he didn't put under the safety car, to be honest. And there's that Paul going around the outside of Bag and Bones. They touch, and oh! Bones just has to back out of that. Otherwise, he was going to send Paul around. Tough to tell from that angle where the space was or was not. We've got now a flurry of activity in the pits after Russman coming in as we go for tires, Fuzz for damage, and it looks like Adri for, I wish they could see if they were changing his front wing or not. This is not a very good angle for that. Yeah, hard to know if he had front wing damage or not. They did not give us a very good view, but yeah, hard to tell from that Bag of Bones and Paul coming together there, where there was space or for less space. We'll have 9 points finishers today. Hopefully we have no more retirements and we can get some nice, clean racing now. But let's go ahead and get some. Oh! We have another spin, another mistake. Clearly, first race of the season, and we are working off a little bit of rust as Bag of Bones goes around. Thankfully, because of all the pit stops, he is going to retain P5, so he's not going to drop down any further because from P6 down, he's pitted since the safety car restart. And Wreck Diver. I think he had that penalty already. Excuse me. Thought I saw him pick up another one. Just the 3 second. But yeah, thankfully Bag of Bones is going to be not too compromised as he's got that pretty substantial gap behind him. But Paul's in a very, very nice position right now in P2. He's going to be pretty, to be honest, pretty comfortable to the end of the Grand Prix. Unless there's any more, as we see Leon getting by Russman. Tire advantage there, and we knew the pace that Leon had qualified in the top 4 as well. So good to see him back in the session and getting some, hopefully at least P6, I would guess, and hopefully some solid points despite a tough race. But yeah, for Snooty and Paul, this is pretty much, I would imagine, holding station to the end of the Grand Prix from this point. We'll keep an eye on that interval to see if it's going up or down very much. But What is now, who knows who's on a push lap or on a cool down lap. Paul does have that tire advantage by a couple laps as the gap is coming down a few tenths here and there, but a lot of race still to go. So we'll just have to see how that gap evolves over time. RC is going to have a job defending from Wreckdiver. Wreckdiver, we know, qualified in the top 4 as well, so he's got some good pace, but he is carrying that 3-second time penalty, and he doesn't have any tire advantage over RC, so that I would imagine will be a battle that will continue here for a few laps. For Wreckdiver, if he wants to finish on the podium, he's going to want to get that move made now and extend that gap as much as he can and pray that there's not another safety car. Bones, despite that spin, has already closed kind of back up to this battle, so he didn't lose. I think he maybe lost 2 positions, but not too costly, not race ending, not sending him, forcing him into the pits or anything like that. So he did a good job to keep his car out of the wall, keep his front wing intact, and lives to fight another day. Another gap to keep an eye on is that gap between LGN and Bones. Looks like there's sort of a 3-horse race now for that final podium position, and then there's quite a gap, about 16 seconds back to Leon. Don't anticipate any of the drivers in the top 5 having to make another pit stop if we stay green to the end of the race. If we see another VSC or safety cars, we have Wreckdiver now making that move, and he's going to get back ahead of RC. So, just as I said, oh, and RC's fighting back a little bit here, so we'll see it. RC actually regains the position, and he's going to have DRS. So RC did a very good job positioning his car through that first complex of corners, and he got the position back. Based off of where they went through the DRS detection point, he had DRS, so he was able to maintain that position going into P4 or turn 4. Ooh, a couple of, yeah, Wreckdiver was right to back out of that, but now he's vulnerable to Bones behind. But yeah, you could see Wreckdiver as they were preparing for turn 8, not quite sure if he wanted to make that lunge or not. I think he made the right call in the end. I think if he would have dove in, it would have been both of them around and probably front wing damage for one of them. But yeah, this will be a really interesting 3-way battle. Leon is closing that gap, but it's a big gap. I think P6, as I said, barring any safety car or VSC, I think the top 5 are going to be the top 5. It's just going to be what order. And hopefully the rest of the guys can avoid any big mistakes. But this is, I hope this battle continues for many laps. Wreckdiver's going to have DRS. He's going to be using all his overtake. He's going to get by him again into turn 1. Let's see what they're able to do. Did he learn his lesson? He's going to not quite. It's side by side once again. Based off of where they went through the DRS, RC has it, and that means RC is going to hold the position another lap. So all the while, every lap that RC is able to hold that position, it's just making that podium look more and more of a possibility. Because you know how tough it can be to break with the 3 DRS zones. If someone can stay in your DRS, it can be pretty hard to break out of that, especially when you're on the same tire compound as these 3 guys are. Bones all the while behind it. He's loving this because that's allowing him to probably save a little bit of battery, I would guess. Although it looks like he's expended quite a bit of his. And he can just sit back, wait, see how this sorts itself out. We've got Wreckdiver now gets a much better exit through, I don't even know what corner it is, but he gets a much better exit, and now is going to be ahead, but RC is going to have DRS, so we'll see if RC can fight back now with DRS. It's going to be open. You can see him running to the inside of the track, trying to break that slipstream. RC is going to get by. He holds the position again, so Wreckdiver just can't quite make it stick. RC goes in very deep there. This might be the opportunity Wreckdiver needs. If he can get a good exit, which he does, he's going to have DRS, which is now open. He's going to be using all his overtake. This is what Wreck Diver needs. He needs to get ahead going into turn 4. Oh, but is RC going to get him on the switchback? No, didn't quite have the grip. So that's exactly what Wreck Diver needed. You really want to be ahead coming out of turn 4, because it's really difficult to overtake in this middle sector. Not again until you get to the final corner is there a really good overtaking opportunity. Out at the front, looks like Snoopy has extended that gap quite a bit. And all the while, these guys battling, they kind of know P2 is not really a possibility, but they want P3. And RC is going for it. He's going to go up the inside of Wreck Diver. He gets it, and Bones is going to be close to this battle as well. This is fantastic, watching these three guys go after it. Ooh, Bones gets a much better exit. Wreck Diver struggling a little bit there with the dirty air. Follow along with Rider Bones. Looks like all three of these guys pushing very hard. For RC, he knows that every lap he can stay in the front of this train, the better his odds get. Because the more he can save. Wreck Diver knows that if he wants to get P3, he's going to have to get ahead, stay ahead, and build that gap. And Bones knows that RC almost took that lunge. Is he going to get it through the middle sector? No, but RC is able to stay really close. Wreck Diver doesn't have, you can see the tail light LED blinking. That means his battery is below 10%. RC looks like he's got just a hair more than that, although he struggles on traction through turn 8. But yeah, Wreck Diver, he wants to build that gap above 3 seconds. RC wants to get back ahead, and all the while Bones has been maybe hoping that they would have it coming together, that one of them would go around, because he's kind of the last dog at the wall with the third of that DRS train. It's very hard to overtake when the person ahead of you has DRS. See the slipstream there, just allowing RC to close up. He doesn't have to use any of his overtake. Wreck Diver, in the meantime, doesn't have much battery to deal with, and he's going to be vulnerable to DRS. Again, you can see his rear wing, his light blinking before they can make it to turn 1. Is Bones going to get it this time? Bones going around the outside. We've got a great view on board from the back of RC's car. Bones just about, let's switch to his onboard, and no, not quite. He is, like Wreck Diver ahead, has been using a lot of battery trying to get track position. This is just fantastic. It really is. Love watching these three battle. I wanted to keep going. I love it. RC, Wreck Diver, all of these guys leaving each other just enough space. It's been really clean, really good racing. Like I said earlier, you could see Wreck Diver recognize he wasn't going to get the move done, so he backed out of it, kept both of their races alive. This is exactly what we want to see. Not if you're Bones. If you're Bones, you want one of them to make a mistake, but so far it's been really good defending, really good positioning. Everything has been tough but fair. You love to see it. Bones having to back off just a little bit here. It's really hard to follow closely through there, especially with the guys ahead of you in battling, because you want to make sure that if there's any mistake, you'll go into the back of somebody. You can see there he's got confidence into the brakes. I wonder if they maybe try a lunge into turn 1. Wreck Diver with the DRS getting by here, and yep, just like I said, you can see the confidence on the brakes. Is he going to go up for Wreck Diver? Wreck Diver leaves space, RC leaves space. RC just got kind of pinched there on the apex, just a little bit. It's a really tough place to go side by side. All of that battling between RC and Bones has allowed Wreck Diver to just get a little bit of breathing room. 8/10, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're comparing it to what these three guys have been having so far, 8/10 is quite a bit. So as it were to finish right now, Wreck Diver would still drop down to P5. Ooh, RC. This will be the first time he's been following with this much dirty air. He's been leading for a lot of this battle. He does have more battery than the two drivers ahead of him. That will help him stay close to the back. I would imagine Bag of Bones, with the way he looked under braking, I think he's going to get Wreck Diver this lap. It's so hard to stay ahead down that main straight with DRS, especially with the way how similar pace these three guys are. Using all the DRS, or all the ERS. You can see just how powerful it is down the straight. And just what moving offline forces them to do is, RC has gotten right up to the back of him, so he had dropped down to almost 8 or 9 tenths, now just back down to 3. Here's RC really close to the back of Wreck Diver. Wreck Diver just squirms a little bit, and he's picked up another time penalty, so that's probably Wreck Diver's podium hope squashed as he's picked up another 3-second time penalty. Really tough stuff. Yeah, T-Money, I agree. It's a really exciting battle. Hopefully RC stayed in DRS. Yep, heard the DRS beep, but he's going to have to get on it. Apologies to the rest of the field, but with only 9 drivers, when 3 of them are battling this closely for this many laps, you can't look away. The rest of the field pretty spread out. Snooty is well and comfortably in the lead. Paul well and comfortably in P2. These 3 drivers are fighting with all they can for that final podium position. RC has dropped back just a little bit. I wouldn't count him out yet because the slipstream, you can still get that effect, and these guys are going to keep battling as Wreck Diver gets ahead. Doesn't have much ERS to use, but he's going to get ahead. All the while, as these guys have been battling, Leon has closed that gap from what once was about 16 seconds. It's now down to about 3 seconds. So Leon has done a really good job. I don't know if the tires are going to hold on. If he is able to close up to the back of RC with the dirty air and everything and the tire wear that he's going to be getting. But RC right now, his main goal is going to be getting back in that DRS range. He's just about 3 tenths out of it right now. Looks like he's been using up a little bit more of his battery. Let's get this tire back on. We want to see as much of the track as we can. I don't know about any of you guys, but I'm really hoping RC can close up because I want to watch more of this 3-way battle for P3. Right now, as it would stand, Wreck Diver would drop down to P6 and Leon would end up P5, so yeah, Leon is doing a really good job on those mediums. Was a good recovery after being basically P2 on mediums and picking up some damage back up into P7. For all of these drivers at this point, even if you spin 2 or 3 more times, stay in the race because you're going to get at least 2 points. Bones, now you can see just how much he's struggling to stay close when there's no overtake left. RC struggling just a little bit. I'm sure the tires now are starting to go off, and for RC, who's been clean air for a lot of this battling, I'm sure he's now having to adjust to not only the aging tires, but the dirty air as well. I'm sure is making that car pretty difficult to drive. If you're Snooty or Paul, you've been able to just manage your tires, and so, for Paul's sake especially, the gap was about 3 seconds. It looked like it might have been coming up and down a little bit, but you can back off that a little bit. Drive maybe 90%, keep your tires in good shape. And, come home a solid P2, we're going to take that. can see even with no battery left to fight with, just the DRS is enough to really stay close and even maybe get an overtake done. Is he going to go for it? We know Bones is looking pretty solid under braking. He's going to get it done, and he just turns across. There was, I mean, not turn across too aggressively, but just turned across assertively. And got ahead, but wreck diver. He's going to have DRS. He's going to think about going up the inside, but just not quite there. He's going to stick behind. Very close. Yeah, let's get some TV angles for this battle. As you can see, the four here in the midfield battling. Leon right there. Now he's in DRS range for RC, so definitely respect to Leon for battling back from what was a tough race, as Russman looks like he's around, but stay in, buddy. You're going to get some points. Some solid points for where you are right now. So props to Leon for not only staying in the race, but also battling back, closing that gap, and he's all over the back of RC now. And if I'm RC, it's tough because he was in P3 for so long. I really thought he could hold on. These last 10 laps or so with this battle have just flown by. It's been such a good battle, lap after lap after lap. These guys re-overtaking and following closely and getting DRS, losing DRS. So we're going to see two overtakes now, Wreck Diver and Leon, each gaining a position. Wreck Diver once again, he's trying to just get as far ahead as he can. His race is not really now for the podium due to his time penalties, but trying to stay ahead of RC maybe if he can manage it. I don't know if he can at this point. Bones right now set to take that third podium position. Leon, if his pace continues, he might be able to get by Bones. If those medium tires hold. Doesn't have a lot left to do it, but he might be able to. RC, if there's any mistakes, he's going to be there to pounce. It's been, for a race with only 9 finishers, provisionally, hope I don't jinx anybody again, with a race with only 9 finishers and 2 safety cars, there's still been some incredible battling. It's been a joy to watch these guys go at it. Snooty, as soon as that safety car restart happened, and it was pretty clear that no one quite had his pace. He's been pretty comfortably in the lead. Leon will have to still give Snooty a little bit of well-deserved screen time. Before we go back to watch that battling on the final lap. But yeah, as soon as that safety car restart happened, he was always showing that he had the pace to win this race. And in the end, it was probably pretty comfortable for him. He could just kind of ease off a little bit, run his own race. As Adri has picked up a penalty speeding into the pit lane. Don't retire, bud. You're going to get points. Same thing for Paul. He's had a solid race in P2. To be honest, I don't even remember what happened at the start of this race for each of these drivers, but since that second safety car, they've just been able to kind of do their own thing. And they will pretty comfortably, barring any major mistakes, finish P1 and P2. But as those guys are starting their final lap, we are going to turn back to the battle that has been captivating us for the last several laps, really the last half of the race. And let's see if Bones, right now he's set to finish on the podium after penalties, but let's see if he can finish on the podium on track. He's going to go around the outside into turn 1. Is he going to be able to hold it? He does. So Wreck Diver was able to hold it. And Leon was able to get by RC, but was not able to get, it happened a few laps ago, but not able to get by as Wreck Diver now finally letting them through. So Leon, it's going to be a big ask, but if he has enough battery, let's see when he straightens his wheel. It doesn't look like he has enough battery left, but I think maybe 2 more laps and he might have been able to get it, or if Bones would have gotten by just that lap or 2 earlier. Yeah, I don't know if the Alfa Romeo guys are on team radio or not, but I think if they would have maybe done that move 2 or 3 laps earlier, as soon as Leon got by RC, maybe what happened. Snooty crossed the line to win the Grand Prix, so congrats to him. Paul looks like he is set to take P2. Bag of Bones is going to get P3. Leon is going to come home with a really solid P4. With a very roller coaster type race, P4. Bag of Bones though really battled and earned that podium. RC, very solid performance from him also, P4 in the end. It looks like Leon might have picked up a penalty. I missed that. But RC, a very solid P4. Congrats to him. He deserved that P4. Well done. Buzz is going to come across P7. We got Rustman, who had a solid first half of the race, struggled a little bit, it looks like, with the strategy, and then just didn't get that strategy on the second safety car right. But he does come home P8, so that's an improvement for him, starting from, I believe, P12, something like that. And Adri, we got our final finisher now, rounding the final corner. Despite a tough race, I mean, that's the thing, when there's only 9 guys like this who make it, we're going to get points. So congrats to all of them for finishing. Great start to the season. Really fantastic battle from those guys in the midfield for that final podium position. That was a lot of fun. Hopefully we will see many more of those battles to come in the following weeks. But no interviews today, unfortunately. I have to run, but yeah. Congratulations to all the podium finishers and all the finishers in general. We'll run through the race results real quick before we sign off. But yeah, Snooty was your race winner, so congrats to him. Paul came home in P2. Bag of Bones rounding out that podium positions. Then RC P4. Leon P5. Wreck Diver P6. Fuzz P7, Rustman P8, and Adri P9. Our non-finishers, Carlo, Barton, J. Dudu, Beck, and Jinnit. Those two retiring. All of those 3 guys retiring before even the end of the first lap, which is why they don't have a best lap set, because they didn't finish one. But congrats to all those drivers. Fantastic race. A lot of fun to watch. And we will see you all next week. Yeah, I was a little bit curious by that penalty. We'll check race director real quick. I don't know why it demoted him. I didn't think there was any penalties, but take that up to the stewards. Make sure you get your race director, and yeah, we'll have to take a look at that in a bit. But yeah, thank you everybody. A lot of fun, and we'll see you next week for round 2.